Hello and welcome to TAG Talk COVID-19 series. My name is Justine Liddelow and I'm the Director of Commercial for TAG, a leading global entertainment, travel and event company. Throughout this series, I'll be talking to industry leaders from our preferred supplier partners about what effects the coronavirus is having on their business and day-to-day operations, what they're doing to combat these challenges, and some predictions of what the future will look like for our travellers as they start to consider travelling again. Today, I'm excited to welcome two very special guests from our preferred supplier, Hyatt Hotels and Resorts. Please welcome Mr. Steve Enselein, Senior Vice President of Events, and Mr. Tristan Dowell, VP of Global Sales. Welcome, gentlemen, and thanks so much for joining us today.
Thank you for the invite.
Yeah, thank you. I'll start with a question for the both of you. We've been in quarantine for the last 15 weeks now, can you believe it? So what are some of the hardest obstacles that Hyatt has had to overcome with this crisis as one of the world's top hospitality companies?
Tristan, maybe I'll start if that's okay. Justine, I'll tell you that, probably the hardest thing has been we've been unable to do what we love in so many of our hotels. As the pandemic started and we were forced to suspend operations in probably 50% of our hotels, we were unable to, greet the guests and do what we love and take care of them when they come to our hotels. As we started to shut down our hotels, many of our hotels didn't even know where the keys were because we haven't locked our hotels forever. So that was a little challenge that they had to overcome, and, sharing the very tough message with a lot of our long-term associates that they weren't going to be able to work for a period of time. Fortunately, we've gotten out of the area where we're suspending operations and we're starting to reopen. So we've been very focused on finding ways and retraining our staffs to provide a very safe, clean environment for your guests to return us. So we introduced our global care and cleanliness commitment during that time. So we've been very focused working with key industry leaders, with medical specialists, with cleaning specialists to really develop this global commitment to care and cleanliness that your guests will see when they get to our hotels.
Great.
Yeah, and just to back onto what Steve's been saying, Justine, is again, I think it's what's happened. It's just really affected our business and the industry overall of that being together. The importance of this business is tied intrinsically to that human connection piece. And, whilst we've had to adapt with Zoom calls and video calls, nothing can truly replace, the importance of meeting one-to-one or meeting in groups and the power of that. So I think that really resonates, even more so, and really about the importance of truly listening and showing empathy to our partners like TAG. Understanding, the recovery that you're also having to face and plan for, and to ensure that we can sort of continue to partner and plan with what we're faced now, but also adjusting to the new landscape. So very similar to what Steve was saying, is that we're having to sort of readjust to ensuring we can give those assurances with hygiene and cleanliness and, the new landscape with our hotels, but also work in tandem with our partners to plan for the future, as travel is so important to our business.
Certainly. Steve, I'll address this one to you. With close to 1,000 properties in your various brands worldwide, and the pandemic affecting each region at different times across the world, how hard is it to maintain that global standard, and do they vary across the different regions?
A great question. And as we all know, the pandemic started in China first, and we were, I'll say fortunate, that might be the wrong word, but we've been able to learn from our experiences in our hotels in Asia Pacific, and we got a lot of great learnings as they started to come out of the pandemic in Asia Pacific. And we worked with them, and we worked across all of our global partners to identify this global care and cleanliness commitment that I talked about previously. We partnered with GBEC, which is the Global Biorisk Advisory Council, to help us determine what our standards are going to be as it relates to hygiene, cleanliness, and safety inside of our hotels. We partnered with the Cleveland Clinic also, and they spent many hours with us as we identified what our revised and even more rigorous cleaning policies and procedures would be inside of our hotels. So we got a lot of support from people to help us define this. And we also thought it was important to get feedback from all of the regions. We took all of the information and the plans from each of the regions. What we did was we created our global truths, and we set standards that each region would have to adhere to in each one of the key areas inside of our hotels. And while each region has different resources and different levels of staffing, we have these global truths that each one of them will adhere to. So while the way they clean a guest room in Asia Pacific might vary slightly because they might have more people that help clean one individual room, the policies and procedures and the safety of our guests is always going to be treated the same way.
Yeah, very important. That's wonderful. Tristan, I'll address this one to you, please. So Hyatt and TAG have had a relationship for a very long time, and we truly value that partnership. So how vital do you think the role of the TMC is from a supplier-consumer relationship, as there's so much information out there that people need to dissect through?
Well, first of all, we value the partnership very, very much in the relationship. But to the question, the role, it's critical. It's so critical, especially as what we're faced with now. With what when you're looking after your customers, you're having to source many different suppliers. You're also having to really look at where is safe, where are the restrictions, and really sort of, you've got to curate and make bespoke travel experiences. So, we truly understand the power of a TMC or a travel advisor, because you're fundamental with really sort of bringing that piece together, whether it's a hotel, the airline, a yacht, private aviation, and piecing that together. And travel advisors to Hyatt and TMCs have always been intrinsically important, but even more so now, with having to really search and curate bespoke travel experiences, whether it's entertainment, corporate, or leisure. We've had to and continue to even deep dive even further over this period to continue with the roundtables we've always had, but virtual roundtables, and we're pleased to have had TAG part of those, where we truly understand maybe what was happening in March is certainly very different to where we are now, but we constantly have to adapt and be agile and be nimble, so that we can continue to really embrace this very new landscape. And as Steve has just shared, and certainly with Steve's background from an event standpoint, we know as well that we can be guided by a travel advisor and a TMC, especially with your customers, to ensure that we're charting on that right pathway too. And everything that we do needs to be fundamentally based in customer insights, both from TAG and both from your customers. So, it's going to be continually important. One thing I did want to add, if I may, as well, yes, when you talk about flexibility, is that Hyatt is always really talking about strong ground as well. Whenever we're doing promotions, we've always wanted to engage and keep the TMC, the travel advisor, in the forefront of that. So whether we say book on Hyatt.com, we always say, or book through your travel professional. All the promotions that we are going to be doing in the future will be fully available to our travel TMCs, our travel partners. And based on the insight, we've also specifically created dedicated promotions purely for the TMCs, because we know that one size doesn't fit all, and we have to have things in market that help your recovery, help your customers, that work hand in hand.
Mm-hmm. And there's so much information target, isn't it? So it's vital that the partnership is so strong, and we do appreciate that very much. Steve, this is one of my subjects that I love. It's technology and touchless technology. So it's being talked about a lot across the hospitality industries, with an even greater importance since the coronavirus pandemic. So can you tell the audience what technologies Hyatt have invested in and their functionality?
Love to. We have taken we've tried to look at the entire guest journey from the time they get to the hotel to the time they leave, and tried to find every possible way that we could make it contactless for the guest. So right away from the time they get to the hotel, they have the ability to check in online using their World of Hyatt app. They can check in. They also can get a mobile key directly off of the World of Hyatt app and go directly to their room and use their cell phone as their key to get them into their room. Inside the guest room, anything that they might need, if they need something delivered, they've forgotten a razor or they need a toothbrush, that will be delivered and dropped at their door without any contact. Room service will also be able to be delivered directly without any contact, placed outside the door. They'll be able to use their phone as the remote control on their television. They'll be able to use their phone to order food and beverage to their guest rooms. Pretty much any part of the hotel, they'll be able to have a contactless experience. We also will be allowing them to use the television in their guest room to do exercise. With our fitness brand Exhale, they'll be able to use guided exercise experiences inside of the guest room and have their workout without even going to the gym. So we've looked at pretty much every single aspect, and we've tried to find a way to make it a touchless experience for the guest.
Yeah, which is really fantastic. So people can feel confident in not spreading those germs, that's for sure. Steve, I'll stay with you actually. So regaining customer confidence for everyone in the travel sector is going to be key to getting them to move and feel comfortable in traveling again. So can you tell our audience what Hyatt's doing to build that customer confidence so they feel comfortable in coming and staying with you?
Absolutely. I'll go back to our global care and cleanliness commitment that we developed. That to me is really the first thing that your guests can look to really understand all that we're doing. Parts of the things that we have will be an accreditation process with the Global Biorisk Advisory Council that I talked about. They have set clear criteria that all of our hotels will have an accreditation from GBAC. They'll be able to see the GBAC star on our hotel when they get there to understand that our hotels are doing everything that they need to. Mm-hmm. Another part of our commitment is that we have introduced hygiene managers in every single one of our hotels. This person's responsibility will be to make sure that we adhere to all of these cleanliness standards that we've told guests that we're going to do. Their job will be to make sure that we adhere to them, to continue to educate and train our colleagues within our hotels. And as Tristan talked about, us listening to our customers and our guests, we're also going to listen to our colleagues as they're on site, and they can give us the best ideas on what we need to do going forward. So those are a couple of things. You're also going to see some changes as it relates to the experience in the hotels. In the past, we typically would have our cleaning crews come at night when there weren't many guests around. You're going to see that change. You're going to see lots of cleaning being done during the daytime when guests are around, and you're going to be able to see that very clear presence of cleanliness and refreshing the rooms, or the public areas also. You're also going to see the social distancing that's required. So you're going to see the restaurants be reconfigured. You're going to see the bars reconfigured. You're going to see the lobby areas reconfigured to allow that spacing out there. So there's going to be lots of visual cues that are out there for the guests to see. And I think it's really going to be impressive to them.
No, absolutely. It sounds like no stone was left unturned. So that's amazing.
And Justine, can I just add, because, as Steve, what's so wonderful to have Steve part of this whole process is that Steve sits on this task force as well, and with Steve coming from a global events background, from the sales side too, he really can see it from two channels, so from the customer standpoint, but internally. So Steve's input and working with his task force is key, as is when we listen to our customers to sort of bring that together as well.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's going to continue to modify too. We're going to continue to modify and enhance as we learn and understand new technologies and new tools that are out there to help us.
Yeah, because I know we're 4 months in, but you know what? We're still sort of in the thick of it. This new wave has come, and so we're still learning and processing. So yeah, hopefully we don't have too long to go, but let's try and be optimistic there. Tristan, back to you. So looking into a crystal ball, what wonderful things can we look forward to for the future of Hyatt?
Well, I think the first thing, I think I'm speaking on behalf of the industry and certainly with TAG and Hyatt is really emerging from this. emerging from this, this challenge, stronger, even, deeply connected, and understanding the businesses even forward, I think is going to be critical. What TAG can look forward to from Hyatt and TAG's customers is that commitment truly to the travel agency community, the TMCs, in curating travel going forward, because it's fundamental to our core business. The travel TMC business is such a strong revenue stream for us, and we know that we can only get where we want to go to with the support of our partners like yourself. But looking into some more exciting areas, I think that what we're very happy about, even towards the end of this year and going into 2021, are some of our new openings. You're probably familiar, Justine, as well as TAG is, our growth in the luxury and lifestyle space. So we're very excited to be welcoming quite a strong growth with Park Hyatt brand, which TAG is very familiar with. We are looking forward to welcoming Park Hyatt Auckland very soon. The growth with our Thompson brand in the US in particular is very exciting. We'll be having 6 new openings in the US over the next 12 to 18 months. The Alila brand, Alila is very excited. We're very excited about what we can do with that brand, especially when we look at maybe TAG's leisure customers and the high-end travel. And some new openings that we're seeing internationally as well, with Great Scotland Yard in London. That's going to be our first brand, with the Unbound collection within the UK. And as Palm Springs is planned to open up. But, the well-being piece as well, as Steve touched upon about, Hyatt has always been sort of focused on, caring for people to be their best. That's our colleagues, that's our customers, like TAG, your customers. And what we have been doing and embarking on the well-being space, we've learnt a lot, and we're excited about that with the Miraval brand, for example. Steve touched upon Exhale. Our Miraval brand will grow as well. We welcome Miraval Berkshires later this year. And what we can do in that space in truly caring for people, the partnership that we have with Headspace. And I think given with what everybody is faced with at this time, ensuring that everybody takes time to look after themselves and we look after each other, that is going to be critically important as we all emerge together. I think the one thing I'm really excited about, I'm sure Steve can talk to this as well, is being also to meet face to face soon, and continuing, our partnership with TAG and your customers. We look at the next few months with cautious optimism, but we are certainly confident that we will charter this landscape and get there.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's nice to finish on such a positive, with all the openings happening this year and health and fitness being at the forefront as well. So, gentlemen, thank you again for joining us today and for sharing such valuable insights from our great partner Hyatt. And for those listening, if you would like any further information or rates or anything that's Hyatt related, please don't hesitate to contact your local TAG office or visit www.tag-group.com. Until next time, please all stay safe. Thanks again, gentlemen.
Thank you.
Thank you.